Hello everybody and welcome to this breakdown video for hole number 5, par 4 of the City Park in the Liberty Tournament. The division we are breaking down here is Pro and Expert Division. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also go and get the best guides on the market by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description below. So let's take a look at the drive immediately. 10% over adjustment means that we're playing slightly downhill. And now we're going to first and foremost trying to go a little bit back and forth. What type of ball do I want to play with? I do stick with the Katana because I do believe we're playing with enough power 3 balls already. 4 bars of topspin, and now look at my second bounce. That is in the middle of the shadow on the other side. And that's the spot that I'm looking for. So the thing that I do is first adding spin. Then I do stretch out so I see the second bounce in the middle of that shadow. At the same time I do that, I take notice on how many rings are we into overpower. In this case we are 2 rings into overpower. So the thing that I then do is when I do adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, I then push up 2 rings. Because that was the rings that we needed already from the start. Because we were on a lower point than we wanted to. If you do want to spend with a power 3 or power 4 ball, that will obviously be different because you will be higher up. But if you're gonna follow this to the letter, that would be the one that I would recommend. Because if you don't do that, you don't really know how much to push up in the end. And it's going to be somewhere between 1 ring to 2 rings. But if you push up 1 ring and it should be 2 rings, then I can bet that you will be more left or more right than you intended to be. If you do the drive correct, you will get a yardage. But disregard that yardage because it doesn't really matter. Because you need to think about because this is not a linear hole. Have that in mind. So the thing we need to think about here is to measure our club distance. I don't really do that here because at first I'm going for the rough bump, but I kind of eliminated that spot directly due to it being very inconsistent for myself. So the thing that I then do in the when not having that much time is that I'm finding a spot that I'm very pleased with, which I'm using in Expert as well. Top right of the white ring by the rough with the blue ring by the fringe. And then I'm using 1 bar of backspin. You can see the ball guideline go a little bit to the right of the pin. That doesn't mean that the ball guideline is at the right side of the cup. But right side of pin means that the ball guideline will fall down to the cup, as you can see here, because the green slopes a little right to left there. So when we don't have a fully developed ball guideline, we really need to pay attention to how we position ourselves with our ball guideline. Otherwise we will, as I've been doing many times, we will be missing to the left. I'm not using any elevation whatsoever. I'm using the slider to estimate, first and foremost estimating the distance and then get my adjustment through the slider. But obviously if you don't, then you will have to figure that out yourself if you don't use the slider. In the end though, hole 5 in Pro, it's going to be a very good opportunity for an eagle. As you can see here in the info box to the right, there is not much that has changed here when we're playing Expert. The only thing that I'm changing basically is the ball that I'm playing with, and also what type of club that I will be playing with as well. Because I will have the extra mile in a bit higher level. Here I would like you to play with the driver that gives you the absolute most distance. So if you do have an Apocalypse level 5+, I would rather go with any of those type of clubs than any other club, because then you have 240 yards. Max side spin to the right, and we go with 4 bars of topspin. And once again, have in mind what I said in Pro. We're looking for the second bounce to be in the middle of the shadow, above the sand and the rough. Adjusting for a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and as we are a little bit into overpower, we do need to apply a little bit of overpower as well. I'm also using a little bit of curl to the right to counteract the push we're gonna have from the wind coming right to left. The ball goes very close to the rough line there, but that's gonna happen many of the times that we are going to be very close to the rough line. But the benefit from once again going this side is that we're gonna be closer to the pin and gonna have a much easier time making the eagle. Now in Expert, we're gonna measure first and foremost where is minimum distance, and I'm going to use minimum distance as our reference to try to determine the adjustment that we're gonna do. 1 bar of backspin and then 1 bar of right spin was what I did initially, but once again, the position's gonna be the same as we did in Pro. White ring by the top rough, or like rough to the right, and then the blue ring by the fringe to the left. And then we will be applying both backspin and right side spin, or left for that matter, if that is needed. But the most important part is that the ball guideline go to the hole, into the funnel, being a little bit short of pin, just due to the fact that we do have a little tailwind. Adjustment here is medium distance, no elevation, and we see this one coming very nicely and right at pin, catching that funnel. So no elevation, medium distance from that spot. Once again, we need to let minimum distance or maximum distance of our club to determine how much we're gonna adjust, because yardage numbers here is completely useless because it's not a linear hole. And, you know, therefore we cannot use the yardage notes as we normally can on par 4. So that's why this hole is a little bit tougher than many others that we do play with a short iron. So, thank you so much for watching this breakdown video for Pro and Expert Division in the Liberty Tournament. This is hole number 5. Let me know what you think about the breakdown videos in the comment section below. Go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy for the best guides on the market. And once again, thank you so much for watching and good luck in the Liberty Tournament.